What's up, everyone? Today I'm going to be doing a little talk on the friend zone. But before I do, I just want to tell you guys that I have some pretty awesome science videos that I will be releasing on this channel that I have already recorded, and I think they're just awesome. So check those out. Subscribe to make sure you know. Anyhow, today we're going to be talking about the friend zone, and this is one of those things that a lot of people get wrong. A lot of guys, and here's the kicker, most guys care about this, girls care about it too, but it seems like guys do more. A lot of them are like, hey, I'm in the friend zone, it sucks, I like this girl and she's friend zoned me. Well, now what does this mean? It is the pop culture colloquialism for basically, hey, I like this girl knows I like her, and she doesn't see me in the same way, so she has made it very clear that we're friends, potentially after some sort of move you made, and it sucks. That's apparently what a lot of people think. It sucks. I'm in the friend zone. I think most people that are coming from this mindset have got it all wrong. If you're in the friend zone and you're complaining about it, or you think it's bad, or it's recently occurred to you, or it occurred to you in the past, chances are you're in the wrong mindset and you don't have a lot of female friends. Or if you're a female viewer, you don't have a lot of friends of the opposite gender. Unless you're homosexual, you don't have friends of the same gender. You get the idea. And this is something that a lot of people are like, oh, that's so obvious, I know that. Is it really? Because a lot of people say, oh, that advice you give is obvious to every single person on the internet. And then they look at their own life and it's like, heck, you're not taking any of the advice, you're not using it, and you're just saying that's common sense for some subconscious reason. It's like, hey, do you have a lot of friends of the opposite gender? It's a yes or no question. And if you're like, oh, that's common sense, and you don't, then is it really common sense? Now, obviously, there's more to it. There's knowing it and then actually being able to achieve that, which I'll talk about later on in this video. But let me explain to you why having good female friends is important. This is, I think, very valuable. I've already given a lot of valuable information in this video alone that most people will go their whole lives without ever seeing or learning about anywhere, and they'll be better off just in their friend zone. Not really, they'll be worse off. So basically, the whole idea is that I find a lot of people who are in this mindset of, oh, I'm in the friend zone, they can't see girls as just friends, and therefore it's very hard for them to make friends that are girls. It's just out of their headspace. It's uncomfortable for them to even be around girls, and you can sort of start to see some of the disconnect there. Like, if you can't even imagine yourself being comfortable around these girls, then how are you ever going to get to where you want to get to? Let's say a girlfriend or something like that. Like, if you're not comfortable being around them, how can you talk to them? How can you establish a relationship? And like, at some point you're gonna have to touch them, and if you're scared to touch them, if you're too comfortable to even talk to them, you're not gonna touch them, and it goes on and on and on. And the great Jenna Marbles said it best. It's like, a lot of people envision themselves in some sort of potential relationship with this girl, but in reality what's happening is, what's holding them back is not some sort of scenario or something the environment has thrown on them. They like to use these excuses. Oftentimes you run into plenty of instances where you can literally go up to the girl and talk to her, but why don't you? And I found it's because of a variety of factors. One of them being, hey, you envision this relationship and you rather would love the idea of a relationship than actually getting that relationship. Why? Because your idea and fantasy is often unrealistic, and it just plays differently. Because like, what kind of relationship would it truly be if it occurred? If you're too uncomfortable around this person, or you think that she'll just naturally like everything about you, even though the truth is, like, heck, you only like her because she's pretty, and you haven't even talked to her to know what her interests are. And 99 times out of 100, chances are she's not into your nerdy games, whatever games you play, Dungeons and Dragons, World of Warcraft, Call of Duty, League of Legends. Don't get me wrong, there are gamer girls out there, and heck, I love video games too, and it's not something to be ashamed of. But again, great Jenna Marble said it best. It's like, what kind of relationship would it be if she only likes these things and you like these things, and you try and bring her into your world, bring her into your basement to play Call of Duty? Just won't work out. So again, it's sometimes coming from a place of scarcity, where it's like, hey, you like the idea more than the reality. And one step in breaking out of that is to stop being narrow-minded and focusing on one girl. Sometimes that scarcity is because of your scenario, but you have to sort of break out and realize there's billions of females on this earth. More so, like, maybe 300 million to be more precise, because those are the ones that speak your language. But moving on from that, why is it so important to have girls that are friends? Like, a lot of people are like, friend zone, I hate it. Friend zone is probably what you want. You want the friend zone. Friend zone is something that will help you. If you're in that situation where you have that one girl, you have no female friends, and you are friend zone and you hate it, first step is to make a lot of female friends, because it'll help you out in numerous ways. And it's not just about taking stuff from other people. Like, I'm gonna befriend this girl so she can do this, and this for me. You kind of have to give value yourself and be a good person. And it's, making friends should be a fun thing for both parties. But having said that, let me just list all the great things having more female friends can do. So, first off, if she's not your type, if she's not attractive in your way, being her friend can still lead you to potentially meet the 10, 20, or 100 friends that she has. And maybe one of her friends that she introduces you to can introduce you to another group or another person who you may be interested in. The possibilities are endless. And on top of that, let's say you meet someone and you can't find it in. But what if you have mutual friends already? That's another thing. Another thing on top of that is that females have a lot of social cue intelligence that males don't. It's just naturally ingrained in them, because they need to recognize the facial cues of the infants they take care of more, while the males hunted, and a lot of evolutionary reasons. But on top of that, a lot of them are exposed to more social interactions, and yada yada yada. So they can help you out, because all the things you're probably doing wrong, maybe that twitch that you don't notice when you get nervous around the girl you like, or your wacky fashion sense, or just behavioral problems that you have, like, heck, you sort of, the way you talk is just very creepy. You whisper, and then you look at them like real creepy when you go up to them, and they can't hear you, and you just whisper it. Like, those are stuff that your female friends can pick up on and say, hey, you shouldn't do that if you want that girl next time. And there are people out there who have lots of female friends, and their friends help them out in these ways. On top of that, like, just think about it. If you walk into any venue with 2 or 3 females, it's gonna look a lot better than walking in there with like 50 dudes or 3 or 4 guys. It's just like, it just, from some social standpoint, it conveys value, social proof, and it is somewhat, in a certain way, one could argue, hey, that's superficial, that's not right. But at the same time, it conveys a lot of organically good natural traits about you. It says, hey, this guy is not just a creeper or a loner. And again, having male friends is also good, but it conveys, hey, this guy's he's normal, he's not a creeper or a weirdo. In fact, he seems to be good with other girls too. I might give him more of a chance. Hey, this guy's awesome. He's coming in here with girls instead of all the other guys who always hang around other guys. And it just conveys value to not just the girls, but the guys. Now, girl viewers out there, again, the social cue thing, it doesn't work in your favor. But at the same time, guy friends, they can introduce you to others. And again, if you have no guy friends, and that can definitely be a problem. But if you're very attractive and you have guy friends, that's a situation where it sort of flips, because they'll start hitting on you and you can't find true friends. So it's a different scenario, and I mean, that's another video in itself. But oftentimes, I would say for I guess a good-looking guy, if he had a lot of friends that are girls, similar things would happen. But the guy, being a guy, he wouldn't really care. So again, it doesn't matter. But I definitely think, for most people, they have a lot of problems with just discomfort dealing with a lot of people, or just dealing with females in general. And that's the first step. And I guess the biggest thing that I've learned is that, from what I've observed and what other people who are very successful with women, I actually did a video with Michael Sartain, and he talked about this, and he's a millionaire, and also he's in Las Vegas with a lot of very attractive women. He sort of looked at what the successful people with women were doing and reverse engineered it, and he asked a lot of women, and what he found, and this was detailed in the interview, which is on my channel, but what he found was that most if not all of the girls met their boyfriend because their boyfriend was introduced to them by a friend of theirs, most of the time a female friend. And so a lot of people, they're going about it wrong. They're doing these gimmicky things where they're doing some magic trick to a stranger on the street, or they're using some sort of random line in a nightclub and approaching this girl, or something on online dating. And sure, that can work too, but there's a statistical study done, and I saw the study a couple years ago, and it was it showed the vast majority, it was like 80% of the way that couples met was through friends or family. And obviously over the years, it seemed like that percentage was slowly decreasing, and online dating was coming up. Before then, there wasn't any online dating, but what I noticed was that the increase was like so insubstantial, and that the bulk of it was still generally over the years 80% to 78% and so forth in friends and family, rather than other random stuff like coffee shop, nightclub, bar, online dating, and so forth. And so again, if you guys have any other information or stuff you think would benefit our viewers and help them out on their journey, leave it in the comments so we can all learn and benefit from it. Again, I'm trying to gain an audience that is positive, that shares my mindset, and ultimately helps everyone else in the community grow. And so, long story short, hey guys, it won't solve everything, but it's a good initial step out of the many steps you can take in getting in the right direction. And now let's briefly talk about what I promised, which is saying that and then going out and doing it. It's not that easy. And what the next thing I found and realized is that you're not going to be best friends with every single person. And my definition of best friend is, I think, what most people's definition of friend is. A lot of people will merge the category of friend with acquaintance, which I don't like. It's like the person you see on a daily or weekly basis, the person you barely talk to, or you can't stay in the room with them for 30 minutes without feeling uncomfortable because there's awkward silences and so forth. Those are more so acquaintances or just people you don't like. And what you'll find is that, hey, a lot of guys will try and make friends with girls and they'll go after attractive girls. And the truth is, hey, you guys have nothing in common. It's never going to work. The reason you're trying and pressing so hard for this sort of best friends friendship is because you're trying to get somewhere with this girl because she's attractive, or you're trying to get something out of them. And it doesn't. The world doesn't work like that. A lot of dating advice online from multiple people and websites and articles, they sort of give this magic pill that's fake. They're like, if you use our conversational system, you will be able to be best friends with every single person you meet. That's not how the world works. There's millions of factors involved that can just turn you off from a person, or just that won't make you click. Once you get into the real world, you'll realize that sometimes it's just the fact that you guys don't have enough to relate to, and you can try and try and try, but it's just very hard. People can come from very drastically different places. If you live in a small town, it's hard to understand, but you can still do it. But again, very drastic places, and you can try and relate to them and go to their places and so forth, but you can't achieve that level that I would call best friend or friend. And that is sort of the level you need to get to get to a point where you're either reoccurringly seeing them on your own free time and they're willing to do that, and they introduce you to others and so forth. And it doesn't have to be that severe, but it has to be up there in terms of best friend, in my opinion. And I found that most of the time, most of the people you run into are acquaintances. And obviously I'm working on it, and I'm definitely growing, and I've been learning in the past to just be better at it. And but ultimately it's one of those things where it's like, heck, you're not going to be friends with every single girl you meet. You may want to try, but sometimes you're just stretching the yarn too long, and sometimes the girl's not interested, or even like sometimes they will sense that you like her, and they won't buy this whole friendship thing. Other times they'll realize you're just friends, but friends don't go out of their way to just introduce you to other friends. Sometimes they just want to do stuff that you guys have in common with, like play video games or whatever, and you can go a long time without being introduced to others. And so again, if you're in this mindset of, I want to get something out of this person, I want to meet this girl so that she can one day introduce me to her 5 friends, again, if you're in that mindset, it'll blow up. And if you're too eager, it can blow up. But again, ultimately, the whole purpose of this is to change your mindset and to stop this whole thing of going from, I hate this girl, I'm going to ignore her now that she's rejected me or put me in the friend zone, to, hey, let's make more female friends. Let's have her as a friend, and others, I love the friend zone. And from what I heard from Michael Sartain and others, is that, heck, when you have 50 female friends or 100 female friends and 20 of them are attractive, and you just have to let the ball keep rolling. The rest will do itself. The rest will figure itself out. You will be introduced to others. or one of them will start chasing you. And it's one of those things, and you can choose from there. Um, so that's all I really want to say. And I think this video was inspired by by my experiences and what I realized, which was that, hey, you don't want to try too hard, and if you do, it just can come off really weird because you're meeting all these people of all genders, ethnicity, and so forth, and all of a sudden, this one girl, you're like, hey, let's be friends. Oh, let me get your phone number. Let's hang out. Let's do this. Oh, let me get all your social media, Facebook, Twitter, or let me just get you on Facebook. I'll talk to you later. It's just too much when you realize you're not doing this to any other person, regardless of the gender or ethnicity of all the people you meet. And it can be just too much, and those are the sort of things where you kind of have to sort of gauge, hey, are you trying too hard? Are you being too infatuated and influenced by looks? And again, there's obviously that whole thing of like, you probably want to try harder rather than just give up quicker. But it is one of those things where it's like somewhat incongruent with yourself. So think about it, and at least try and consider my advice. As always, like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.